This is just about DC, but it really represents the ongoing growth of fascism, the continued, as you like to call, butt scoot towards fascism.
Yep. Well, and DC is the seat of empire.
And DC is the seat of the empire, and we lived there for 8 years. And the DC police have begun enforcing areas of the city that they're calling drug-free zones, but to me, that doesn't even matter what they're calling it, where they can just interrupt or arrest anyone that's in a group of 2 or more.
I wonder who that'll be used against.
Yeah, I wonder who they'll pick as. So basically, if you are 2 or more people, if you are plural, then they can just walk up and be like, we don't allow plural around here. But of course, it also allows them to then go through all your stuff, to basically stop and frisk you. It's basically a glorified stop and frisk. They're supposed to have a reason to harm or interrupt or harass people. But of course, they often don't, because their main job is to enforce the class structure and prosecute the completely illegal war on drugs, which is a war against our own people. And the way they do that is to come up with quote unquote reasons. Well, this gives them a new reason. If you are in a group, you are kind of illegal. You're on the cusp of being illegal.
I'm also imagining like 4 people waiting for a bus or something. It's like, and they get arrested. It's like, it's so,
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, it's so bananas. But it's like, of course, this is going to be used, as always, primarily against Black and brown folks who tend to have a lot of community and tend to hang out in groups. So it's going to be used against them, like, the loitering laws that we've seen all over the country. And it's also, of course, going to be used against people organizing. So like, this is not about safety. This is not about...
It's against organizing. It's against allowing people to use the public space as public space. And in many areas, it's like the richer people have generally large houses. They have large yards. They have large areas that they can hang out that are technically on their property. The poorer people in our society generally don't have those kind of areas, that much room. Often people live in apartments with 6 and 8 people in the apartment. And so
you hang out outside.
So you hang out outside, but this gives the cops a reason to harass, investigate, arrest people who are outside, which generally means poorer people. You don't generally see more millionaires, hanging out on a park.
I'd also like to point out that you don't need more than 2 people to buy drugs. It's not like a fun outing for a bunch of, it's like, so just the simple idea that this has to do with drugs is so dumb. Also, it's like nobody goes. It's not like a Disney dance scene where like 20 people show up like flash dance, like flash mob.
You haven't seen West Side Story?
Yeah, like
of course it is.
Like what? It's so dumb.
Of course it is. Also, the definition of drugs is the thing we're not allowed to talk about on your mainstream media or anywhere else. Oh, drugs means a very specific kind of drug that is more often bought on the streets by people of lower class, and so therefore it can be attacked. Meanwhile, we have like the Rolling Stone article that just came out saying the Trump White House was flooded with Adderall, Xanax, and other prescription drugs. Had doctors walking around that would just say, what do you need? And just throw it to them. But of course, that is rich and powerful people taking their drugs. Well, that's fine. There's nothing to get in the way of that.